10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have ignition.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are rejoining our Mars crew in low Mars orbit. If you remember last episode, they did all their checks and got the descent vehicle detached from the station and ready to go. Now we are hopefully on course for a path that takes us, within a couple hundred kilometers of our target, which is our Mars surface base. This will, of course, be the first time we've actually brought a crew down to this installation, hopefully making it a fully armed and operational research center. But we just got to do a couple of quick checks as we're going through our very prolonged RCS only, because we don't have a descent engine retro burn to bring our periapsis down to about 70 kilometers, and then, well, we just wait. Yeah, so we've done many test simulations with this lander, all of which worked really well, most of them anyway. But this is the first time we're actually doing this with an actual crew, and they seem to be pretty elated about it. I did all the testing for this build many months ago, and well, I practiced over the course of the week or so leading up to this stream. It was still, kind of hit or miss. But I will say this thing is much less touchy than our last few landing systems and has much broader room for error than any of our previous systems also. And it actually, because of the design of the Aero shell here, can rely a lot more on atmospheric drag to slow itself down to a point where the parachutes can deploy, where all of our previous attempts were pretty much all engine all the time. This uses significantly less delta V to bring itself down to the surface than really any of our previous iterations at attempting to put boot prints on Mars. And because of that, it's a lot lighter. I won't say too much smaller, but it's, I don't know, that Aero shell is broad and heavy, but, for what is dead mass until pretty much now, where you can see that drag spike starting to pick up. Not much of a lift spike, but because of the angle of it, it's helping slow us down considerably, and RCS is having to work out extra hard to keep us angled in. And now you can kind of just see barely that lift spike poking through, but if you look at our vertical speed indicator on the right hand side of the screen, well, now it's starting to go up, but it was down in like the 40s or something for a little while there, which is notably pretty good, especially at this altitude. This is not particularly an altitude where I expected to see this much lift and drag being generated just by this Aero shell. It's a pretty significant spike. I mean, yes, the drag spike much longer, but there is a lift spike, and it is generating some form of lift here, which is, of course, the longer we stay in the air, the more time it gives us to slow down because of it. So always a benefit. But we are coming up now on some of the more critical points of this descent. And, well, I would be remiss if I didn't, give you live commentary on that part at least. So there is our target. We're going to miss it by quite a bit, but hey, that's why we bought a rover. Anyway, for the rest of this landing, I'm going to turn you on over to old me live during the broadcast. Come on. All right, we're down to 1.6 kilometers per second. That's some pretty good news, but we are also at 19 kilometers. All chutes still yellow. We got about 4 kilometers left, so we're going to hit the brakes on the RCS here, since we got plenty of fuel left to play with. We got to bleed off about 200 more meters per second before we get to chute deploy, if things are going to go well. I have a feeling that things are not going to go well. Test if landing. Oh, shoots. Oh, God. Please hold. Please hold. Please hold. Holding. Yes. Do it. Come on. Yes. All right, we're coming in. Here we go. Doritos and ravioli. Quality combination. Okay. Drogue chutes are out. Now we just wait for the about the 6.5 kilometer mark. And then we will jettison the Aero shell and proceed with our landing. Oh, thank God. Parachutes holding. Hell yes. 10 kilometers, full deploy. Lots. G loading. We're doing okay. Don't judge me, Nova. How's it going, Ampersand? Good to see you. 200 meters per second, 8.4 kilometers across the ground. We're going to have to kill the throttle. No, we won't. We're just going to leave it full bore. 7.5. 6 kilometers. Main chutes will deploy, and we will shed the Aero shell. 3, 2, 1. Aero shell away. Please don't impact us. We are clear. Thank goodness. Landing gear successfully deployed this time. Thank God. Good thing chutes don't have collision. I set them up to cut at that altitude so that we wouldn't have this issue. Apparently KSP has decided to ignore that. There's the cut, if you just heard it. 3.4 kilometers actual. Reserve thrusters engaging. Full deploy. Peg that G meter, friend. Or like 3. Whichever. That's fine too. 70 kilometers. 60 down. 44 down. Let's roll back this throttle. Quite a bit. So we got a long way to fall and not that much fuel. Let's leave this open so we can monitor our fuel expenditure. All the goodies hitting the dirt. 1.7 kilometers. 35 down. RL-10 supremacy in action. Quite possibly. Alright, 1.5. 32 down. Leading on thruster fuel because we have more of it, but we're going to return to a big throttle bump here just a little bit. Let's roll this throttle back. I don't think we need it quite so much right now. 1 kilometer actual, 27 down. 27.9, let's peak this up. 600 meters. Oh God, no, I don't want to turn on sticky keys. F you, Windows. I swear I had that disabled for years now. Why? Okay, 400 meters, 8.5 down. We're okay. Fuck me. God, that was terrifying. I thought for sure everyone was gonna die. 300 meters. $150. 125. $90 meters. Parachutes doing more harm than good. 50 meters. $30 meters. 15. Contact. Yes. RCS to disarm. Parachutes away. Okay. Okay, we can breathe. Let me catch back up with chat now. So with the crew safely nested on the surface, they'll be doing their shutdown operations here before getting all of the goodies out of the rover and starting to try to find a way to navigate this several hundred kilometers to their uh, center of operations, our Mars surface base. Luckily, it is within the 2-day endurance that we have on the rover here, which will release the brakes and then reset them again so it can stop trying to pop wheelies. Not cool, rover. But we will first deploy our engineer, Yevgenia Tamarinka, to set up a small little research node here marking our landing site. One of our very few successful ones ever. And oh, now that I look at this picturesque footage, I can see that the lander is slowly sliding down a hill. I did not notice that during the stream, but you know, well. So this will be a permanent installation, thus the RTG and the controller core. We're just going to kind of let it sit here and do its thing. We're also going to strongly nudge a landing leg, causing it to violently explode. I guess it's just done being here, but thankfully the ascent vehicle does not tip over. That would have been extraordinarily bad. So now with our on-site scientist expert here doing stuff, we're going to run a bunch of these samples so that we have some stuff to take back to our research center and then get all loaded up. And with all of our Kerbals safely aboard their rover, we're going to take a ginormous quick save and then start our trek on out to the research center. And so after 2 long, hard days of driving, we will flip the rover again shortly after arriving. One of our scientists will just scurry on ahead and get things booted up and make sure that the inside of this place is actually in as good a condition as we assume it is after all of its interesting trials and tribulations and being kind of sat here idle on the surface of Mars for a half decade or so. Once we've got that checklist confirmed, our engineer will hop out and try to make this rover right side up. It is light enough to just scoop up, but unfortunately the connection node isn't really cooperating with us very much, so we're going to have to try to use our old tried and true method of using jack standed antennas to flip the rover upright. And once we have that accomplished, someone will have to set the parking brake, and then it's going to be time to get the remainder of our 3 Kerbals aboard and get them in closer to the research center and park this thing. I'm sure all of them are very, very eager to jump inside and use the workable flushing toilet as a proper amenity, and also maybe, you know, breathe some of this nice fresh air that's been sitting here for a good long while waiting on their arrival. Warm beds, gravity, all the creature comforts of life on Earth, plus a little extra radiation. So we do have one other job to accomplish here before we can actually call this a fully armed and operational research center, and that is to flip the lab module right side up and get it attached. But we're going to give the crew a couple of days break and just kind of let them relax. They've had a hard couple of days. So we're going to jump out now to Jupiter for our Callisto lander mission. This is a contract mission, and we are starting to run close to the failure point for this contract, and this would be the second time we've failed to land on Callisto. However, this time we have brought with us an absolutely ridiculous amount of Delta V. So we have dialed in our flyby. We're going to just kind of nudge it in just a little bit closer. That's what the whole point of this node is. Before bringing ourselves on approach, we're basically going to try to do a single burn that captures us into orbit, and then we'll go from there. We'll see how much Delta V we have left in our capture stage, and the lander itself comes with about 2.4 kilometers per second, which should be well more than enough to pull off a landing all on its own. But there's always a possibility that we're going to have to use some of that fuel to capture ourselves into orbit, or to lower our orbit, or to make sure that we're going to come in over a biome that is new and interesting. Of course, all of the surface biomes here are new and interesting because, well, we've never landed on anything on it before. So we got that going for us. So just a small touch-up entirely on RCS. We're going to bring our orbit in a whole lot closer and try to get our periapsis as neatly tucked as we can. help save every little bit of delta V for this burn as we possibly can. It'll also help with landing if we're in nice and tight already. That means it'll take less to, I don't know, put us on the way down. So there it is, and it looks like 900 meters per second will capture us into orbit, which leaves us with a solid 3 kilometers per second left in our capture stage before we have to resort to the 2.4 kilometers per second that are left in the lander actual, which is ridiculous. This mission is well on track to put some landing legs down on one of the Jovian moons, our first one since Ganymede, after, I don't know, I guess 3 failed attempts. But yeah, I don't know how to gravity assist very well. It could have been done much more efficiently, but you know, sometimes the best solution is to just throw a big pile of delta V at it. Now, I want to bring your attention to our latest problem here, and that is that Remote Tech is not actually transmitting home any of our data. Well, it says it is, and it's clearing the instruments, but it's not giving us proper payout credit for these things. And basically, radioing in science is the only metric we have right now outside of contracts, which are pretty sparse, to generate income. So this is a major problem for the space agency because, you know, we launch these missions on the belief that we can get some good science, and that science is going to be turned into money via one of our strategies, and that's just not happening right now. And I don't know, this has been kind of an off again, on again problem with Remote Tech, and so it's, I don't know, kind of spoiling the fun. Anyway, our capture burn was successful. Our engine did not fail. We've got that going for us. We're going to start grouping up some action groups to radio in some science, and the decision is made to attempt this landing with our main engine. It is throttleable, but we're so light that really just doesn't matter. It also does have a pretty lengthy spool up time, so we've got that also as a problem for us that we can't, even though our minimum throttle, our TWR is way, way, way above 1. Yeah, I think our surface thrust is about 40 times, 40.7 is our TWR. So even at minimum throttle, we're going to be way above 1 with that figure. But we've set our node. We are going to come up on this 420 some odd meter per second adjustment burn to basically bring us insta down. And yeah, here's the part where you can see we're, you know, well, I think those we got paid for, but the next batch we're going to radio in, we won't. And this becomes a rather persistent problem. That and electric charge, because, well, the RTGs that are aboard here are not really enough to keep everything afloat. We have to put the system into hibernation for the batteries to charge. And that does pose a bit of a problem. And because of that, our SAS module is not working, so we'll just resort over the far more battery efficient Mech Jeb Smart ASS, even though it's even worse about keeping headings and stuff. And of course, this also means that we have overburned our descent, our initial descent burn, and we're basically going to start falling near straight down here very, very soon. So this is proving to be more difficult landing on this main engine than originally anticipated. But I guess for the rest of this landing sequence, I'm just going to go ahead and turn you over to old me for live commentary. 14 kilometers. 10 kilometers. 5, we're going to give this a solid bump and try to negate this. That's going to be about half of our fuel. 8 kilometers. 7. 6. 5. Full throttle. Bump it again. Come on. Shutting down. 60 kilometers at 2.4 altitude. 331 left in the tanks. 2.2 actual. We're going to fire it up again at 1. Maybe it's time to retire the save. Shush you. 1.4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Shutting down. 800 meters altitude. 244 left in these tanks. This is going to be an interesting landing. Can we mitigate speed with RCS? No, we cannot. Can we mitigate speed if we open up all of our RCS? Barely. 400 meters. 300 meters. 200. Ignition. Shutting down. Oh god, we went up by a bunch. That was effing stupid. The tank can be a crumple zone. It could be. God, I wish I had deployed the landing legs like a smart person. Time to old yeller it. I don't know what that means, but okay. We're still over the old craters. Let's just go ahead and activate this. And now that we're falling again at daggone near 10 meters per second, 300 meters off the deck, we're going to fire this up again at 100. 3, 2, 100. Ignition. Shutting down. 75 off the deck, 4.5 down. Lots of lateral translation here. 50 meters. One last bump. Ah, too much, too much, too much. God, 35 meters off the deck. Looks like we're coming down on one hell of a hill here, friends. Come on, be light enough. Be light enough. Be light enough. Nope. We're just going to let it hit 25 meters. Bump! Oh, don't take out the dish. Don't take out the fuel tank either. Come on, just give us enough. Yes! Oh, God. Oh, God. No! Garbage collection always makes me nervous. Thrusters to full stop. Thrusters to full stop. Okay, let's kill our fuel sources here before we bleed too much. Everything's shutting down. We're on the surface. Ah, yes. A landing much more suiting to this series. We are on our side, and we use the engine as a crumple zone. Good for us. We do need to shut down the avionics for a little while and let our batteries charge from our available RTGs. We're also going to top off our RCS tanks a little bit before attempting to right side upify our lander actual. And this is the part where we noticed that science was not being credited to us as it should have. At least some of our things were going through. Some of them were not. That would, well, stop. Given remote tech's very inevitable demise at this point. Thankfully, the decoupler firing gave us enough oomph to put us right side up, and the tank will roll in and dent the dish. But now the RCS has enough authority to get that tank out of the way, and we'll just let it pile on down the hill. And so, with yet another successful landing this episode, I think it's only right that, well, we try to do it again. This lander has so much fuel that we really kind of owe it to ourselves to scoop up as many biomes as we can. So we'll shut down the avionics for a little while and let those batteries charge up again while we start to figure out where exactly that we want to take this thing. I did notice that there were at least 3 other biomes. We are currently sitting in Callisto's old craters, so we just need to find out where there's another biome nearby and see if we can get there. So we'll just make sure all of our fuel is available to us. We'll use Mech Jeb's landing guidance to find a nice biome that is very, very close by. We'll try once again to unsuccessfully radio in some of our science. We're just deciding to wash our hands of it and go for landing number 2. All right, kill rotation is on. Where's 90 relative us? Not that far off our current vector. Cool. H ignition. There she is. Good girl. Alright, let's just work it in here. Get some angle on us. KSP is like liquid fluoride, liquid hydrogen engine. Corrodes the shit out of itself. Alright, so we gotta get this arc somewhere over here, somewhat, somehow. And hope to goodness it's enough. We already completed our contract, so this is all just bonus science. Right, and shutting down. Set a maneuver here for 3 minutes to cancel this out and approach for landing. Okay, let's turn off Mech Jeb. I should have radioed some stuff in, but I'm real stupid. Did not consider this. Because our TWR, not so great. So as soon as we can see this change, I think we'll just start our landing approach. Oh god, we're coming up on it pretty dang quick. Lowlands, let's just... yeah. Kill rotation, Mech Jeb enabled. Here we go. It means we're just a hop, skip it away from the Highlands, though, and that might be kind of awesome. Surface 120, 4.5 kilometers off the deck. Now we're in the Highlands. Let's go ahead and cancel this motion and get down for landing. Then maybe we can just like roll ourselves into the lowlands and take care of all of this. Canceling. Gravity losses are awesome. I love having lots and lots and lots of gravity losses. 4.4 off the deck. Here we go. Oh, I clean up the tracking station stuff about every other month or so. Oh god, I got 7 minutes. We got to put this on the dirt. Do not even try to crash on me, KSP. Yeah, once this touches down, we're going to have to call it a night, friends. Nope. RCS is not enough to overcome this. We're going to wait until about the 1.5 kilometer mark, based on our TWR of 4.5. Quick save, dummy. Oh, I hate you so much. Quick saving. Watch you be still at 7 minutes from now. Yeah. You're wasting. This is just time that we're not landing. And not raiding. Okay. 3 kilometers off the deck. 2.7. God, we're accelerating quick. Let's just light these up and see what our deceleration looks like. Oh, it's not that good. I'm glad we did this. Hold the node, friend. Hold the node, 1.8. Okay, good. So we can, in fact, decelerate at about 1.5 kilometers from 60. Can't stop the stream now unless you crash and burn. We already completed our contract, so if we crash and burn, it's not the worst thing in the world. We got paid. And that's what matters. 1.5 up, 28 down. If that hits 1.3, we're going to let it get down to 1, and we're going to light these engines again just to make sure. 0.1, 2, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition, 40. Thrusters to assist, 20, 19, 18. Shutting down, 700 meters. Okay, so 300 meters. We can burn off, what was that, 50 meters per second? Landed in the sun. From here, That's going to be mighty difficult. 20 meters per second. 400 down. Or 424 down. Ignition. 13 at 250. 200. 8 down. 150. 10 down. Here we go. 100 meters. 80 meters. 60 meters. 50 meters. 30 meters. 20 meters. 13 meters. 5 meters. Touchdown. Nice and soft. It is what has got to be some kind of series record. 3 successful landings in a single stream. And I think we have enough fuel to attempt a few more with this little guy before we call it mission complete. Although he did complete that contract, so he's already a winner in my little books. Way to go. All right, everyone. That's going to do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. And I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.